Hey friends, welcome back to the Gubba Homestead. I'm Gubba and today I'm going to be sharing something super special with you. The Gubba Homestead family is growing. All three of my goats have had their babies, but last night was special because my favorite goat, Annie, who is super calm and sweet and she always wants to hang out with me and get rubs, she finally had her babies. But what's crazy is that last night was the gnarliest thunderstorm of the entire year. I mean, lightning was striking across the road, my house was shaking, my dogs who normally aren't bothered by thunderstorms were freaking out. Like, the homestead was crazy last night. The chickens, everybody just going crazy. So I went out to go check on Annie and she went into labor. So I don't know if it was just me coming to check on her, but she immediately bedded down and went into labor and I was there with her and it was chaotic. She ended up having triplets, which is super exciting. They're all so darling and cute, but, and this is a big but, she took to only 2 of her triplets, and the reason why I was up so late last night was because I had to make sure that her last baby was getting what they needed. So when the baby goats come out, they are covered in fluid and mom needs to lick up that fluid, get them dry, or they could freeze. And with that huge thunderstorm last night, the temperatures were low. What I noticed, I'm very hands-off with my animals. FYI, very hands-off, let nature take its course. I will help, but I try to be as hands-off as possible. She took to her first 2 babies that came out, she dried them off, but the last baby, she was completely checked out on. She didn't really want anything to do with them. It was crazy, the storm was going on, the animals were going crazy, so maybe, you know, it's her first time giving birth, and she just didn't quite know what to do. So I dried baby off for her, put baby by her, but she didn't really seem to care, so I was like, okay. And it's also important, babies, they need to get up and walk around shortly after birth, you know, be able to get up and get to their mother's milk, the mother's colostrum. Well, the 2 babies who she dried off got to colostrum just fine. This baby was kind of struggling to get up, but again, I'm not super intervention. I was watching, they ended up getting up. They went over to mom, Annie, and she didn't want them to milk. She kind of just kept walking away. So I intervened, grabbed her by the collar. She's super calm, and I took the baby and put the baby on Annie's udder to nurse. I could tell she wasn't super comfortable, so I'm just not sure if she realized she had 3, but I was up very late, just making sure everybody was good to go. Throughout the night, I had to help the baby nurse, so I have been on top of that, and I was up so late. I was looking in the mirror, I was like, oh my gosh, I have bags. It hasn't been very long. They were all sleeping when I left. We're gonna go back out and check on them. Before we go, I'm gonna put on some tallow. This is my age defense. I put this on all of the time. This has frankincense and shea butter, and I keep it on my kitchen windowsill. I rub beef fat on my face all of the time. We're gonna go out there, and the weather's not that great too, so this is gonna just help me feel better. So let's go out, check on Annie, and see how everybody's doing. So this is my Annie girl right here, and she has little white nursing right now, so that's one of the babies that she took to. So I see little brown in the corner, which is the other baby, and then we'll call him Speckles. Speckles is in the back, so I'm already still seeing this disconnect because they should all be together, and she's letting little white nurse. Little brown is by her and Speckles is in the back. So I'm gonna go in and we are going to get Speckles and just check in, see how everybody's doing. Let's check genders too and make sure Speckles is getting the colostrum mat they need. This is little Speckles. She's just getting up because she saw and heard me coming in. Hi, I'm not your mama. Your mama's over there. You kind of have to be careful because if she rejects baby, they can just ram the babies until they die. Okay, she's licking, that's good. So it looks like mama's just checking out baby and she's walking away. So I don't know if she was just interested because I came to baby. Let's nurse. Let's just nurse you. So I can tell she's kind of tense. So I can see that Speckles, she's not nursing. So little Speckles was trying to nurse, but she wasn't really fond of that. She was kind of kicking him like kick him off. So I brought a baby that she has taken to, who's nursing no problem. And here is Little White, who has no problem nursing, but Speckles has been having a problem. And you can see how she tensed up right here. Like, she saw Speckles coming down here and wasn't super comfortable with it. But that's why having Little White down there, who she's bonded with, might help. And she's kind of interested in Speckles. But it also seems maybe like Speckles is having, I don't know, still learning Annie and the udder, so that could be a reason why they're not bonding. Whereas Little White, it seems like Little White has it down with the udder, so they are good to go. Little Brown's sleeping in the corner, but I've seen her and Little Brown, they're good to go, but it seems like she's starting to take a liking to Speckles, but just not as much as the other two. So I haven't seen Speckles nurse yet, but it looked like if she was going to be nursing, her best shot is going to be if she has Little White or one of her siblings with her. But it's good, she's up and standing, she's awake, she seems happy. Annie might be coming around to all the babies more. Like I said, last night was just chaos, so that could be maybe why she didn't. I'm gonna go check on everybody else, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on Speckles because I want to make sure she's getting fed, because there's triplets and there's only 2 teats on the udder. I gotta make sure she's getting food. I gotta make sure she's fed. Everybody else is good, because like I said, all of my goats had babies, like you can probably hear right now, and there's even more drama, family drama, that's erupted from that. This girl right here is my first doe who gave birth and who I'm currently milking. This girl has not given birth because she's too young, but what's difficult for her is her mom has given birth, and she is right behind me. So Blue has given birth, and what's difficult is now she is no longer the baby. And it's hard because her mom's no longer giving her that one-on-one attention, because she also has 3 babies to be taken care of. So they are divided by fence, and she will try to graze along with her mom, but you can tell it's really tough on her because she no longer has her undivided attention. She has to share it. So those are some family dynamics going on, along with there is a struggle for power. Blue, who was just behind me, she is the main goat of the crew. She's the top of the pack. But now, this girl, because she had her babies first, she's feeling more superior. She has been battling Blue for the dominance in the pack. So we kind of have this goat situation going on right now. Annie and Speckles trying to form a bond. We have Purple, who's feeling left out because her mom Blue had 3 more babies and she's no longer the baby. And then between my first mama and Blue, they are battling for dominance and hierarchy. And I have no clue where the hierarchy is going to land, because before, like I said, it was Blue who was leading the pack. These babies are the first babies that were born here on the homestead. I'm really close with them, as you can tell, they just come right to me. This one right here, I don't know, she kind of reminds me of like a bullet because she has such a spitfire personality, and she's kind of a bully when it comes to milking. She takes all of the milk. And then this little one right here, I've named her Lady because she has a lot of manners and she's the little runt and gets bullied, but she's such a lady about it. And this is the first buck that was born. I think I might keep him. I haven't named him yet, so if you have any name suggestions, but he is so chill and relaxed and just such a good boy, and he's growing these little horns right here. I'm not going to be doing any dehorning. This is the first little family that joined us. So this is the family of Blue. So this is my original milking goat from last year, Blue, and she had 3 babies. They're not as used to me as these other babies because these babies have been around longer. Here's Mama, and her 2 babies are in here. They're still a bit skittish. Here's a little buckling who I think is just so handsome. I haven't had a name for him yet. Again, name suggestions. Maybe Butters. He kind of reminds me of like a butter. We could do like a little Cinnamon for the first little girl I showed you in the family. He's a Butter. That's Bullet. And this is her last baby. Haven't named him yet. Maybe Rowdy. That's kind of coming to my mind. He's kind of rowdy. He's most rambunctious of the crew, of all the babies that I've held so far and been around and have gotten used to. Maybe little Rowdy, Butters, and Cinnamon for this little family under Blue. We have quite the family going on here. And Blue is not having it when the older babies, Lady and her little crew, are getting after her crew. So there's a lot of drama going on. Okay, there you go, you're fine. So this is the first crew's baby, and that was the second crew's baby. So Blue's and my first girl's, and it looks like her baby won out for dominance. Of course, he's bigger. But they're going, these two families are going head to head for dominance, just like their moms do. He has about a 2-week advantage on him though. So he'll win for now, but we'll see when they get bigger. Blue isn't a fan of her babies getting bullied, and she has no problem headbutting my first girl's babies. So that's all the family dynamics we have going on right now. All of my goatees had babies, so we have some family dynamic struggles for power between Blue and my first mama. We're just gonna call her Mama, who had her babies first, and so they're now going back and forth. And then we have Annie and little Speckles, who are trying to form a bond. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that, making sure Speckles is nursing and Annie is also getting to know her and be a good mom. Like I said, last night was just pure chaos, so I think that had something to play in the relationship dynamic that Annie has going on with her kids. Because when I walked in there, the chickens were going crazy, so I have the goat house next to the chicken house. They're kind of connected. The chickens were going crazy, the goats were going crazy, so it was just chaotic energy. So I'm gonna give Annie the benefit of the doubt. I think she's gonna be a good mom, but I'm still just gonna keep an eye on little Speckles, who needs some extra help. And then we also have Purple, who is mourning the loss of her mom. She's not the baby anymore. Blue has more babies, so that is going to be an interesting dynamic when I put them back together. Are they gonna retake to each other? Will it be the same relationship, or is Blue now going to take to her other smaller babies instead of Purple? So I started with 4 girls, 2 boys. The 2 boys aren't even in there. So the 4 girls are now 13. So we have 13 little goats out there because my 3 does had triplets each. So I feel very blessed, and I am looking forward to see how this unfolds. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me, see everything, and meet the family out here on the Gubba Homestead, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!